Hello, I'm back. So this is the second video of 3 videos that I'm going to be making for this Frankenstein's monster project. So we just ended the last video with, or me showing you how to add different body parts with masks. And I had Angry Cat, and then I had Rocky's body. And then I cleaned up, I think I had Woody in the last, I don't know if I had Woody's legs in the last, I think I did have it in the last video. And then I just sort of cleaned it up a little bit and worked on my proportions a little bit before I came back to this video. So, and I also got some more pictures in here, so I won't take up so much of your time. So basically for this video, I'm going to actually show you how to continue adding different body parts with using masks, and then also accessories, okay? And then the next video will be on background and cast shadow, okay? So before we get started, let me just go ahead and show you. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to, add different body parts. And basically when you add them, you want them, of course, this is, our creation, right? So you want it to look funny, but at the same time, you also want it to look maybe believable, right? That maybe this, the arm could be attached here, or this transformer leg could actually be coming from, this body here. So, we do want to make it believable, because if it's done well, then it's funny, because, it's if it's a sloppy job, then it's not going to be as funny, right? So anyway, so we're going to be, and then also while you're working on your monster, think about what kind of background you can have, okay? So because I did this one, I have Yoda here, so I'm like, okay, maybe I do a Star Wars background. Or if you have, I had Rocky Balboa's arm here, so I thought of boxing. Or that I have these meditation beads and this yoga arm, so I'm like, what about a yoga setting? So basically, as you're working on just developing your monster, just start thinking about what kind of background can you put in here, what kind of background. And of course, I'm making it very relevant with my face mask and my thermometer and just the times that we're in right now. So, you can make it relevant to you. Or, I was also thinking, Lord knows I need to be meditating and doing yoga. So here I added the beads and the yoga setting, and just trying to, be calm during all of this as well. There's my paintbrushes. So I just want you basically to have fun with it, and to just preoccupy your mind with doing something, and having fun, and maybe even having your family be a part of it, because you'll most likely be doing it at home. And so, your family could join in helping you get some ideas, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be basically just finishing up the body and then adding accessories for this video here, okay? Okay, so this is where we land. This is where we stopped last time. And I want to show you that, let's see, what do I have here? So, okay. So you can see if I zoom in, there's Rocky's body, and Rocky's body ended with the, he only had a cropped body, right? That was the picture I used. And then Woody's, I only wanted to use Woody's legs. So I could just like not use the gold belt, and then just have Rocky's body go into like Woody's belt. But that, I thought, that doesn't look as good, or I really was wanting that boxing belt here. So basically what I did, because I thought this looked sloppy, I found another picture. And so this belt here, of course, is attached to this picture here. So if I go ahead and disable that layer mask, you can see that if I turn off, let's see if I turn off this here. Okay, so this belt, that I got for this picture here is attached to Rocky's body here. So you're going to have to, do those little extra things in order for it to look a little bit better. So since you're doing it at home and I'm giving you guys plenty of time, extra time to be doing this, and you're not limited to, the schedule at school and working through, from bell to bell or whatever. So go ahead and find the pictures, and I didn't actually clean this up with this belt until the second day. I went ahead and just did it without it. Let's see if I turn this off. And it was bothering me, and I'm like, what can I do to better make this picture look better? And then I thought, you know what, I'll just go ahead and get a different picture and then use my mask. And that's what I did. So I used this picture here, and then over here is where I put my mask on it. So I just went over here and I took my brush and I painted in black, and I painted away everything that was in there so that only the belt now is showing. Okay. And then if I put on, where's the grumpy cat's head? Okay. So I think that looks better. So you can see before and then after. Okay. So go ahead and clean things up and use multiple pictures. You could see that was, two different pictures of Rocky Balboa. I had this one and then that one. So, go ahead and do that little extra to make it look better. Okay. So what else do I have to show you? Okay. Next thing I want to show you is on a lot of the pictures before, I was using, see, I didn't clean that up. See, it's bothering me there, right? So I use Big Bird's leg and then Woody's leg here, right? So I use Big Bird's and Woody's leg here, but then I'm also going to show you that, I also used the transformer when I was putting Yoda's head on. I was changing out some different body parts. So I'm going to show you how to add a new body part, which is the transformer leg here. So I actually put it in my layer here. So here's the transformer leg. And basically, let me see if I disable this. Okay. So basically, what you want to do is you want to go to the picture, right? Open the picture up. That was my transformer. And I just basically just cut out the leg and the torso that I thought I was going to be using. And then I drug it into this file here, right? And then when I had it here, then I just got my black, made a mask over here, put a vector mask on it, and then used my brush. And I've been using a soft round brush, keeping my opacity mostly up at 100, but sometimes you come in, you could bring it down. And then I painted away, wherever I saw white, painted away, and then that's what it looks like here. Okay. So use the black there, and it looks like I erased it, but you know what? If I come back over here, let's just say I went too far, right? I come back over here into my mask, get my brush. I could bring back, part of that picture, right, that I had. So there it is. Okay. Well, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go back to black, and I'm going to zoom in. And you can use a paintbrush or you can use a selection tool, right? So whatever is best for you. I just want you to be able to, learn things. And it took me a while to learn things too. So don't be so hard on yourself. And whenever you want to get rid of things, you have two choices, right? You can use a brush or you can use the selection tool. Okay. And either one is going to be fine. So, whatever one is best for you, and maybe sometimes for certain pictures, a brush is better, right? And then maybe, let's see, what else I want to do here. And then maybe for other body parts, the selection tool is better. Okay, let's see, I want to use Okay, but just remember that black hides and white reveals. Okay, black hides and white reveals. Okay, and then also when you're doing that, make sure that, oh yeah, and then another thing, I need to get rid of Woody's leg here. Okay, so I just added the transformer leg, but now I need to come back down into here to Woody's picture, right? I need to get that mask. If you didn't make a mask, make a mask. And I'm going to be working over here, right? I can see his, boot back here. That looks ridiculous. So I'm going to get my brush, and it's going to be easier for me just to use a brush than to make a selection. Okay. So I'm just getting rid of anything that I see. And there it is, so now you don't see Woody's leg there. Okay. So that's how masking works. Oops, that's how masking works. And then also, I was telling you that when you add your body parts, try to make them the same length, or if you are trying to use exaggeration to make it funny, you can think about making something bigger, shorter, longer. But, try to keep your proportions somewhat, um, reasonable or realistic, so that way the viewer understands the image. If too many body parts are different, then the viewer's confused. Okay. Now, let's see. Okay, so I also have this lobster claw. Okay, so I wanted to bring this lobster claw in, and you can see that I went and I found a picture of a lobster, and I took me forever to find a lobster claw that I could use for this. So, take your time. Looking for pictures is a big part of this project. So, it took me probably the majority of my time was just trying to find pictures that, okay, yes, I can make this arm work or this claw work. So, give yourself plenty of time to be finding the right images, okay? And make sure they're high resolution images. Okay, so here is the mask so this is me turning the mask off, right? So the lobster was on a blue, like, wooden deck, right? So here's the blue wood behind it. And so basically what I did is, I think I used a selection tool, actually, and selected the lobster claw. And then I painted, I filled in with black the surrounding area, right? So here is that cleaned up. And then, if you notice anything else that you miss, I just noticed a couple of spots that I missed here. Okay. And then try to get it to match the body, right? So here it is. Okay. And now that I have that attached, so if I come over here, let's see, if I paint in white, let's see what happens. Okay. So you can see that there is, I'll just keep it like that for now, okay? So there it is, right? It's working decent, but Rocky's arm looks confusing here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to come down to where I see Rocky here, put on a vector mask here, right? Make sure I black, because black hides. I want to hide that arm. Get my brush, make sure I have 100% opacity, and start getting rid of his arm. Okay, so now there it is, it's gone. Okay, there I am, I'm working right here. Okay, so now if I come back up to the lobster claw, okay, and then I was working on trying to have a transition between the lobster claw and the body, because I'm like, that looks a little weird. So what am I going to do? Bring my opacity down some. And you're going to have to really, let's see, do I want to do, no, maybe I want to do black. Okay. So what you want to do is slowly, maybe this is too low. Let's see if I bring this up a little bit. Slowly make it fade. And you might have to do some color changing and things like that. You decide how much you want to expose it. Okay. And just go back and forth with your opacity. If it looks weird, then you can go back and add a little bit, so just things like that, right? So, and then I'm looking at this little area here, which I'm not sure about. So let me go get my black and let me make sure This is 100% up here. Bring my brush size down. And let's see if I can clean that up a little bit. Yeah, I can clean that up a little bit. Okay, and then also, if you noticed, there is this rubber band here, right? If you ever bought any, you know, lobster or crab, you notice that sometimes there's that rubber band there. So I also used content aware fill, okay, or you can use any of the like the patch tool or the healing brush tool, and get rid of that. But I did get rid of that rubber band. I also opened up the claw a little bit because later on, I was thinking, well, I might want to put something in there. And so I knew I needed to open that up a little bit. So I just used my warp tool and I opened that up. Okay. Okay. So next thing I want to show you is the mask. Okay. So now you have to bring in, so after you have, two different arms, two different legs, and if you are using the same if you have both of your arms are the same, then the hands have to be very different. Okay. So if you're like keeping Rocky's arm here and then keeping Rocky's arm here, then definitely you have to spend a ton of time on making the hands different in order for you to fulfill the requirements. Okay. So right now I have my requirements filled for my body. So I have two different arms, two different legs. I have a body here and then a cat's head here. So I fulfilled those requirements. Now I need to add at least 3 accessories. Okay. And I noticed that, this little holster here will be a great place for me to put something in. And then I was thinking, well, what could I do with my picture that I already started? I could do some jewelry. I could put a face mask on it. I could, um, put things in here. Put something in his claw. I could put something in his, over here. So there's lots of things that you could do. And I put all those different ideas in your instruction sheets. So go to them and look at them, or maybe just look at student examples from last year to get some ideas. Okay. Okay, so basically, what am I going to do? I'm going to work with the mask here. Okay, so I added the mask. Okay, I cut it out of a picture and then I brought it in. Well, you can see clearly it is super small, right? So I'm just going to come over here into my picture here and I'm going to make it bigger. Command T, and I'm going to actually zoom into my picture first. Okay, and then I'm going to hold down Shift and Option, make it bigger, rotate it a little bit. Okay, and you could stretch it out a little bit. Okay, something like that. Okay, so you can see that I still need to clean up a little bit, but first I want to show you Puppet Warp, okay? So let me just show you that I did use Puppet Warp here, and you can see that I have it like that. So I'm gonna show you how I did that, okay? So I'm gonna come back to this right now, and maybe before I do that, I clean it up a little bit. So let me just zoom in a little bit and take my brush and bring that up. Yeah, and then bring my brush size down. Make sure that I'm working in my mask and clean that up a little bit. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh, and then also, oh gosh, trying to be in a hurry. Okay, and I want to leave that there. Okay, so now make sure I'm come over here and just back it up a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to go here, and I haven't got a chance to show you the Puppet Warp tool yet. So let me show you. If you go over to Edit and come down to Puppet Warp, Puppet Warp is super cool. And usually I will have students practice with like taking a picture of themselves and then they they make like a straight face, and then I have them like make their make them smile. Like, so if they have if they just take a picture of themselves, like a selfie of themselves, and they have their mouth is just completely like, expressionless, I will have them use puppet warp and make them have a smile or a frown. And so there's a ton of tutorials out there if you want to do that. It's fun. It's fun to do. And you learn how to do puppet warp. Okay. So basically, you're going to take so when you do puppet warp, you're going to notice there's a little thumbtack here. So take it and put it on the end where you want it to go. And I want that to be there. And then I also want this one to be there. Okay. And then I want this one to be there, this one to be there. Okay, well, clearly you're like, what's happening? It's covering up his eyes now. So I need to now bring this one down, right? So I'm going to bring that one down, bring that one down, bring that one down. Okay, and then I also want to crumple this up to make it look like it's fitting his nose, right? So I want to make it look like, oh, okay. Okay. So let's see. Maybe I want to move that down a little bit. I'm not sure. Let's see what that looks like. That might have been a little too much there. I'm sort of thinking this one looks a little bit better. But you guys get the idea, right? And so you're basically sort of doing that. So let me just undo that so that way you can see before I go there. Okay. Or another thing that you could do is you could just use warp too. So if puppet warp is too confusing for you, then you could just come here, edit, transform, and warp. And warp, does the same thing. So you guys already know warp because you've been doing warp this whole time. And you are pretty good at it, right? And you can just okay, and so something like that, or that was the puppet warp up there. Okay, so you can get a feel for that. Just practice with it, and then if you also want to erase some of this here, if it doesn't look like it's, I would spend more time making it look like it's going into his fur, and then because let me see if I have an example of that somewhere. Well, let's see. Okay, so you can see that I spent a lot more time working on that, right? Trying to make it look realistic and mask up. Okay, so you can see that try to make it look realistic. Okay, so let's see what else. Oh, okay. I know what else. Okay, so I also have the necklace here. So I have a necklace because you have to start bringing in your accessories, right? So clearly you're like, that looks horrible. So I'm going to turn off the mask so we can see what we're doing. And you're going to get your mask. You're going to cut it out. You're going to bring it in. Okay, so here's my mask. Here's my necklace. So, basically, it doesn't even look bad there, but I'm just going to say, just to show you, okay, I'm just going to put it here. So I want to show you another way. So there's two ways. You could just put a mask on here, right? Get your brush, and then just paint away. And this one will look like it's more draping on his body if I just paint away and just do that, which, isn't bad. Okay, so it's just sort of like more draped over his shoulders, right? Or if I disable that, okay, and I want to use the puppet warp. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit so you can see. And then I'm going to go edit, puppet warp. Okay, same thing. I want to take that and put it there. Take that and where do I want to put it? Like there. Okay, maybe I want to move that over a little bit. And now it's sort of, that edge there is looking a little weird. Edit, puppet warp, and then bring that, let's see, put this here. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, that helps. Okay, so play around with your puppet warp tool and then add your accessories, okay? So that's all I'm going to show you in this video as far as doing things, okay? Don't forget, you work over here in your masks, right? So you use your mask as sort of a way of doing non-destructive editing. Instead of using the eraser tool, if you use the eraser tool, then you erase permanently. But if you have a mask, you can come back over here and you can add white to it. You can bring things back that maybe you're like, oh crap, I need to bring that back, or make some changes. Okay, so try to use the mask. Okay, and then let me just show you so you can see that I added some paintbrushes. Oh, another thing I wanted to show you was how to do jewelry. Okay, like earrings and things like that. So let me go and get this one real quick. Okay, so here's another. Okay, I'm going to do these earrings. Okay, so earrings, right. Okay, so I turn that, let's see. Oh, you know what? I have this here. Okay, so if I have my earrings right, there they are. They're coming and going. Let me just do a Command J. I'll turn this one off. Okay, and then I will disable or I will delete that layer mask. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. Okay, and one more thing is, so here's my earrings, right? And I put them all on, I merged them all onto one layer. So I only have one layer to work with here, right? There they are. And basically what I did after I finished them, I just Command J and then I just flipped horizontal and then I put them over here. And then I added one more little earring just to make it a little bit different than this side. Okay, so basically you're going to put a mask on it. Okay, come down here, vector mask. Okay, zoom in and look at what you have. Okay, and what I'm going to do, get my brush. So if this is an earring that's going into Yoda's ear, this would be hidden because it's going through his ear, right? So I'm just going to, okay, it looks like I'm erasing it, but I'm working in the mask. Okay, so now that makes sense, right? Okay, same thing here. So this one, okay, now this one is tricky because this one is sort of overlapping. I don't think the viewer is going to notice it if I just do this. Okay, let's make my brush a little bit smaller. Ah, okay, and like right now it's zoomed in, so you can sort of see that little overlap there, but I think it's okay if we do Command 0, nobody's going to notice that, right? So I did that with the earrings there, and then I also want to show you, did his nose ring. Let me zoom in on his nose ring. Same thing, I did a mask with his nose ring, and then I also found, so then I added a lobster claw. And then I also was like, well, you know what? If I'm doing Yoda probably will like to do some yoga. And so I brought this arm in here. You can see I need to probably clean that up a little bit. But I added some beads to her hand. And I did the same thing with the beads. I just basically took a mask and just sort of cleaned up any of the beads that were in front of her fingers or that weren't looking right. So I just did the same thing, just like what I did with the earrings, I did with the beads. Okay. So you're going to accessorize your monster, have fun with doing your accessories. The accessories really is when you're having fun because you're really giving it those extra things. Oh, so with this one here, the face mask, I'm like, well, I'm going to add some thermometers into his holster, right? So I added some thermometers. I was telling you, I opened up his claw. So I used the puppet warp to open up his claw, and then I added that thermometer in there. Okay. Is there anything else? And then I added him into this yoga setting. I think that is it for my accessories. Okay, so basically, make sure that you're fulfilling the requirements, okay, and make sure you're cleaning up your work. And then the next video that we're going to do, we're going to add a background to it. So after you finish this part of the project, before you go on to my next video, find your background, okay? Make sure in the instructions it says find a background that that will meet your, that will match your theme, right? So you're probably creating a theme, right, with your monster, right? And then find a background that goes with some of your accessories, right? I have a boxer, I have a claw here. I probably could have put him like on a boat or like a beach or something. I have a transformer leg. I could have put him in Toy Story. I mean, there's so many things that you could do with your monster because you're going to have so many different parts, right? So find a picture that you think will look good with yours. And basically, we're going to take the picture into this. Okay. We're not going to take this and bring it into your picture because then what I found last year is that people's monsters were so small because they took their monster and then they put it in the background. And I want you to do the opposite this year. I want you to take the background and put it in to your the background of your monster. I want your monster to be quite large, almost as large as your canvas. Okay. So that is a different requirement from last year. And I want you to notice that if you look at the examples and you see that they didn't do that, I try to encourage them to do it, but they still didn't do it. But now this is a requirement for you. Okay. And so find your background, spend time on that. And then before you go to the next video, get your backgrounds all ready. Okay. The next video, then I will show you how to do a cast shadow. Let's see if I have one. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do a shadow. And the cast shadow is a part of this project's requirements. So that's why you need to have a full body because we need to do a shadow. Okay, so that's all for this video. And I will see you. Actually, I will talk to you soon and be ready for part 3 next. Okay, thanks and talk to you soon.